Hey guys, it's Duved here. Today we'll be going through a Photoshop tutorial. This is CC 2014. There's minor changes throughout the years. Everything stays more or less the same. And I'm giving this tutorial to you guys just because I am just that kind. So let's get on with it and let's get started. So first, since I'm using a Mac and some of you out there might be using a PC, there's only a few things I might say. So I might say command. On a Windows machine, it's control. Right? Control's on the far bottom left of your keyboard. Right? Let me just double check. Yep, far bottom left of your keyboard. And that's what you press whenever I say command. So we're going to start a new document or a composition or a Photoshop file, let's just say. So file new, and as you can see, it says Command N. You guys would press Control N. So new document. So you can enter the name of the document. This is what it will be saved as, the name. You got several different measurements here, so millimeters, centimeters, inches, pixels. So let's just say I want to do a custom document. Custom is any size you want to do or anything. It will automatically change to it whenever you want. And if you guys want to know, I was on international paper, and you can change it to between all of these. A4 is a normal sheet and A3 is twice the size of a normal sheet. Okay, so let's go on to custom, and here we go on pixels. So you guys probably are very familiar with pixels if you're watching this video, or very savvy about their YouTube experience, because you got 720p on the corner or 1080p depending on what settings this video renders at, but or 480p if the screen capture isn't that great. I'll be really sorry guys if it is. So this one is 2480 by 3508. Sorry for the start guys. So let's change it to something we're all familiar with. So this is what most full HD screens are compatible with. 1920 by 1080. 1080p is probably something you've heard about a lot. This is most screens today. So what you guys want to do is leave the resolution at 300. 300 pixels per an inch is basically print quality. Now, RGB, keep it RGB color, because if you're doing digital, if you're putting it on YouTube, if you're putting it on Facebook, you do not want, this is just going to be grey. This is a bitmap, so it could be accepted, but it's not going to be as good. It's going to have like web colors. CYMK is for print documents, and this is how you control the level of ink you can have. Lab color is not necessarily needed. It's not what anyone really uses when they're doing digital creation like this. So keep it on RGB color, keep it on 8-bit. Otherwise 16 and 32-bit you will not be able to use half the tools. So I'm going to name my document YouTube 1. Okay, so I think as well, if you notice on the advanced section here, I've got it as working Adobe RGB. You guys will have it as this. It really doesn't matter at the moment, so just press OK. And I've got a grid loaded up automatically, but you can press Control H to hide all the extras. I press Command H because I'm on a Mac. If you're not familiar with that, you can go on View and you can go Extras, and this will show extras. This will show the grid by pressing Control, comma, apostrophe, whatever it is. So let's get started. So you guys will be greeted by this tool. So this is what you move everything around with. Okay, and instantly it just said the layer's locked. Could not use the move tool because the layer is locked. Now, for you to unlock it, you double click and it'll give you an option. Layer 0, color none. Leave all this, you guys won't need these two, and this one isn't entirely necessary yet. You can change that later. So name it whatever you want. I'm just gonna say, yeah, layer 0 is actually, yeah, layer 0 is fine. Okay, so now I can move it. So what you guys just saw there is a checkered background. So this is stuff will be see-through on most things, on most digital platforms, because Photoshop files aren't like the normal pictures you take. Because when you take a picture, it always has a white a sort of a background there. PNG files or Photoshop files will not have this, so you can see through it, and certain programs will pick up on this and it will know the outline of your certain image, and it's better to deal with layers like this and then convert it over to JPEG. So we got a layer 0. As well, will be using a graphics tablet for this because I've got one and it is very easy to set up, but I will show you that in a later video. So you got this tool, you can move stuff around. You see what I just did there? Right there next to the bin and next to the file is a new layer button. So what this does is it basically creates a new layer. So if I will give you an example, okay, so you see it's on that, but if I go on this and let me go to a different color, say red, it will go behind it as shown now. So I've just made a mess. What do I do to undo it? It's simple. First one, you press, for Windows users, you press Control Z. But if you want to go a step further back, you press Alt Control Z or Alt Command Z if you're on Mac. And if you want to customize this, you can definitely customize almost anything on Photoshop. The way everything's arranged, the performance, the keyboard shortcuts that I will be using throughout these tutorials. You can even go to preferences. I think for Windows it's under Edit, but for Mac it's under Photoshop. So go General and you can change stuff. So I'm gonna go to Performance, and this is where it gets necessary. So I've got around 6 gig of RAM, 8ish, I think. So what I can do is allow more RAM to the system. So that's around 5 gigs RAM. So what this does is makes the performance a lot better. So I can use all the advanced settings on my graphics card. If you have a dedicated graphics card, like an AMD graphics card or Nvidia, perfect. You can use that to its advantage, full advantage, and yeah. You can have different scratch discs. Okay, here's the important part now. History states you guys normally start off on 25, so you can only undo 25 times. I set it, I'd recommend around 50, otherwise it will definitely affect performance. Yeah, so that's all you really need to know about this. Everything else here is just interface and everything. You can customize how bright it is or how dark it is. Personally, I would like it pretty bright. I like it bright. Okay, so we've set up our Photoshop. This looks pretty old, but yeah, I like it like this. So that was me just drawing again. So how I got to the colors is, you see this box here, you press it and you can select your colors, and it's just literally like Microsoft Paint, where you can just select the colors however you want. Now so that's the brush tool. You can just press B on your computer and it'll take you straight to the brush tool, and you can just click and drag wherever you want, like how you would freehand on Paint. So let me just do it again. Okay, so I made a mess, but I only want to rub out some of it. Okay, so you see here my rubber is too big. So what I do is I click here and take it down a few sizes. These are measured in pixels. So just find the size that's right. You don't have to be specific with anything, not yet anyway. And you can just keep on testing it and see what works for you. Or next to the P and the Enter button keys on your keyboard, you got the brackets, and this is a really short way of changing it. As you see, the bracket that's closer to P will lower it, and the one closer to the Enter will enlarge it. Right. So you can change this in keyboard shortcuts, and keyboard shortcuts are literally self-explanatory. It's like how you go through it in a video game when you're setting up controls. If you guys really want me to go through that, just drop a link in the below. I'll create a quick video to explain to you guys. But that's not really necessary at the moment, so let's get on to the video. So we've got our ideal size, and we erase some of it. Okay. However, if I press Command Z, it undoes the erasing, right? So I went back 3-4 steps there. However, you can actually get a detailed look at what you've undone and redone here. It gives you everything you've done since you've made a document. So you're thinking, how can I cut off people's heads on Photoshop and stuff? So I would get started. Okay, so how about we just, since I can't really show you any photos due to privacy of people and people who I Photoshop, I'll show you one of my images. So I've got an image here. I drag and drop it, not here, but to the top. Now the reason why I drag it to the top instead of just dragging it down is because if I drag it down, I'll show you now, it will do that and it will create borders, and you don't want that. Now what you want is it on its original size. You want to cut out what you want and then put it into the document. So this is a picture of a very, very old hard drive, I think. So there are several ways of cutting out a item in the Photoshop. So you need to be on its layer, otherwise you can't cut it out. Because say I go on here and I use one of the cutting methods, which is the polygonal lasso tool. You click, hold, and you drag across, and you should be able to see it. So you have the lasso tool, but we want to use a polygonal lasso tool. Reason why, you can do this like shapes with a polygonal lasso tool. I press Command Z to undo there. However, a lasso tool will do this. I just clicked and dragged and clicked again. So a lasso tool will do this. It's literally, you have to hold it, and it's like freehand. So if you want to undo a selection without pressing an undo button, is press Command or Control if you're on Windows. I think you guys should get the hang of that now. Command D. That means Command deselect. Just think of it like that. So say, the thing is, if I do this, I do Command C to cut it like how you would in Windows or any Microsoft thing, it said cannot complete copy command because the entire selected area is empty. Because now these little eyes represent showing and hiding layers. So if I hide this selected layer is the one we can see, and this is layer 1, and you get a little preview there. And if you want to set up how you want to see it, you can by creating large thumbnails, which gives you a bigger preview of what you're working with. So we've done that. Now we'll unselect this and we'll use the polygonal lasso tool. Polygonal lasso tool. So you all it literally is you click and you drag down and you just click and trace around the object like how I'm doing, and you're creating shapes by doing so. This method is the only one we'll cover this video because the other ones are quite advanced, so I'm just going to do it rough just for the sake of time on this video. So now what you do what you do in Microsoft Word, PowerPoint or whatever. So as you can see, I'm already selecting that layer, so I need to select on the right layer. Done. It still creates a selection, and you press Command or Control C, and then you go to your whatever document and you press Command V. So you see what I mean? It's gone to a pretty large size now. So we press. Now here's one thing you guys might not know. You press Command T to resize stuff. So Command minus to zoom out, or Control minus, depends whichever one you're on. So I click and drag. I'm holding shift whilst doing this because if I let go it'll just do this. So I hold and click and drag down. So and then I let go. You let go of the click before you let go of the shift. In doing so, you maintain the sizing of its object. So now you've done that, you can click away, or sorry guys, you have to press enter or tick on here, and you've got your hard drive. Now say you want, you can color this in like I said earlier. I'm clicking the brush tool here without coloring the background. So I'm colouring in this layer and not the background layer. Right, but if you want to do something different, I think you can, no, that's layer style. You can just use a very quick way of selecting stuff. If you've already traced around it before and just dragged and dropped it in, you can press the quick selection tool. You guys will have the one tool, but like I said, click and drag, go down, and you'll find it. So I'm on plus at the moment. You can take away stuff as well. So you just click, drag, find it. It does it for you, like that. You can say it's almost like magic. So with that selected, I can now use my brush only on that. Okay, so now I'll show you a few more basic things. You got your fill tool, which I could have done it way quicker by just clicking. I'm gonna undo all this. There we go. And fill tool. Okay, that didn't work because it's using an image. It's trying to fill out certain areas which have a certain color. So if I fill out this area, oh, it's not being selected. So it's only filling out a certain area. You can change this by the tolerance. So let's say it's 40 tolerance, meaning it's more accepting and it will just color in stuff a lot quicker. Yeah, that's all it is about the fill jug. Solid areas will be filled in. That's how it works. So we'll undo all that. You can hold down Command Alt Z and undo all of it for you. Oh, went too far back. See, I went too far back. Now what I can do is go Control Shift Z, or Command for Mac users. Went too far again. There we go. Now, some people might want to use text. Now, text, as soon as you click and drag, this is the space you'll be using. You can adjust this, and then once you have, you can start typing. And you have certain fonts as well. You can also adjust this, but I'll get into that in an advanced video. But for now, all you need to know is you can just type, and you can adjust it by using this, like how I showed you with the transform tool by Command T. How I said hold shift and stuff, you can just freely transform this without distorting its sizing because it's a text and you're enlarging text there. However, if you press Control or Command T, you will adjust its sizing. That's how transform works. So I typed in YouTube. You can select your fonts here, and the color will be here. Same color picker as always. There we are. Aligning like windows, stuff like that. Okay, so you want to make stuff more useful for you once you're doing stuff like this. You want to be have a more efficient, what we call workflow. So in order to do this, some people like me would have one like this. Much better for me, as this is what I normally use. I've got all the tools out here which I use. It's almost perfect. It's perfect for me. So how you would do this is, like, you just click the little bit with the dots there, and then you just pull it out, and you can press this to close it in, so it's easier to access some of the tools. So reason why I like doing this is because it saves a lot of space. And some of the stuff like properties I do not need, so I can click it, close it, and you can join this on here. So when it's like that, it will join on here as its own tab in the line. So this is a whole own section. You can drag these out as always, and when it's like got the blue square around it, that's where you can join it in again. So if I want to join this in, it will have the little thing there and a blue line which may allow me to join it in. Okay, so now we've got our workspace sorted. So you're wondering, how can I get to the other tools quickly, like this tool or the lasso tool or something? So you press, okay, for lasso tool it's a certain button, so if you hover over it, it'll tell you L, so you hold shift and L and you can cycle through them, as you can see. With brush it's the same thing. So now let's get on with some of the more basic tools. You got your crop, that's very simple. So say I just want to fit in the hard drive, just click and drag, and you press enter. There you go. Okay, so I'm just going to look through the tools here. You got your zoom tool. If you don't feel confident pressing Command plus, just click. Move away from the object is zoom out. Move towards the object is zooming in. Right. So now what you want to do is, one thing that I find very cool is a clone stamp, and you press, it's this little stamp you'll see above the eraser. If you have it normally, it's below the brush. So we go, because I'm on the wrong layer as shown, we go onto the right layer, and what you do to select a certain area, you press Alt, and you see a little thing coming up where I've pressed Alt, and it comes up here. So I click and I drag across. You can see a little crosshair going across the whole thing. Here is where it's most visible. You can see it, like right here, you can see it, and it's just copying all that's being shown on the crosshair. And if you want to, you can just do this. You can press Alt, sample different areas by pressing Alt, and it will just do it for you. And like I said, like a brush, you can enlarge it and make it smaller with the brackets. And you can sample all layers or current layers. So there you go. You can do filters and stuff, but I won't necessarily get that in this video. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please donate on Patreon if you really do like the video and you want to see more of this. I might do a few Patreon exclusive videos just for people who really support me and really want me to do well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you can use these tools now to create whatever you like. Any problems, or if you think, wait, he didn't explain this, this or this, how do I do this? Leave a comment leave a comment down below. I'll answer them and I will show you how to do it. I'll either explain it in text, send you images, or do a whole video if too many people request it. This is Deeved, and I am coming off. Thank you guys for liking the video.